Hello, lovely Stanford children. Miss Denya here in our office again, ready to kickstart autumn 2 with another assembly. Hope you've had a lovely half term and have had a good rest, are recharged, ready to start your learning journeys for autumn 2. So I know that reception are going to be thinking about keeping safe and happy. Year 1 are going to be looking for their dragon. Have you seen it anywhere? And year 2 are going to be historians researching the Great Fire of London. And we're going to be historians today, thinking about something that happened over 400 years ago that we normally mark on the 5th of November, which is this coming Thursday. But due to COVID and lockdown again, people aren't going to be celebrating this event in the same way that we normally would. But we're still going to think about why it's such an important part of our history. So just to start off, I'm going to share with you, hopefully, some music that I'd like you to listen to. Some of you might have heard it before, so I just need to find it. Okay, so I'm going to pause it there. Hold on, I'm going to make myself just a little bit bigger. So that was what's called the music for the Royal Fireworks. And it was composed by a German-born English composer called George Frederick Handel. And he composed the music for the Royal Fireworks for George II in 1949 to mark the ending of the War of the Austrian Succession. And it was played as part of the celebrations that took place to mark that ending, the royal celebrations, and is often used at firework events as well. And another famous composer called Mozart called the work of the Royal Fireworks a spectacle of English pride and joy. And I don't know about you, but when I listen to that music, I can imagine the fireworks going off. And so today we're just going to be thinking about why we then celebrate Bonfire Night and why we have fireworks normally every year on November the 5th. So behind me here, I've got my firework display that I would normally have with you in the hall in assembly, but you can have a look at it when you go into the hall. I just thought I'd keep it, then I'll show it to you back at the end. So the thunk today was, what if Guy Fawkes hadn't planned to blow up the House of Parliament on the 5th of November? You might want to talk about that now, or I might just tell you a bit about firework, but a bit about Bonfire Night, and then you can come back and maybe think about that thunk at the end. So you're going to be thinking about the gunpowder plot and the history of fireworks. So as I said, every year on the 5th of November, people across the United Kingdom remember a man called Guy Fawkes who planned to blow up the House of Parliament on the 5th of November 1605, so over 400 years ago. Now, in 1605, England had a Protestant king called James I. Now, a Protestant is anyone separate from the Roman Catholic Church. Now, those behind the gunpowder plot were Catholic and wanted to get rid of the king and his government and put a Catholic king back on the throne. So they gathered barrels of gunpowder and hid them in a cellar underneath the Houses of Parliament in London. But before they could set them alight, someone had alerted the guards and Guy Fawkes was caught, arrested and imprisoned in the Tower of London. An Act of Parliament was then passed to make the 5th of November a day to celebrate the King's escape. And since that day, people celebrated with bonfires and fireworks every November. Bonfires and exploding fireworks remind us what would have happened if the plan to blow up the Houses of Parliament had been a success. Okay, so I'm now just going to show you a video that will sort of bring that to life for you, hopefully.
Remember, remember the 5th of November, gunpowder, treason and plot. We celebrate this date every year, but why? It's all about an attempt to blow up the Houses of Parliament over 400 years ago. It's called the Gunpowder Plot. In 1605, a man called Guy Fawkes was part of a group who were plotting to kill King James I of England and his government. They planted 36 barrels of gunpowder in the cellars under the Houses of Parliament. It was Guy Fawkes' job to set the barrels alight and cause a massive explosion. But the plan was discovered and the group was stopped before they could cause any harm. One of them had sent a letter to his brother-in-law warning him not to go to Parliament that day. The letter was passed to the king, and his guards broke into the cellar and found Fawkes guarding the barrels of gunpowder. He was arrested, put in prison at the Tower of London, and then executed. On Bonfire Night, we remember these events. The loud explosions and bright lights of the fireworks remind us what might have happened if the gunpowder plot had been successful. We also put a dummy representing Guy Fawkes on the bonfire to celebrate the fact that he was caught. Next time you see a fireworks display or watch the guy on the bonfire, remember the 5th of November, gunpowder, treason and plot. I see no reason why gunpowder, treason should ever be forgot.
Okay. So that gives you a little bit more information about that and brought that story to life. But obviously this year, to be able to remember the 5th of November, you will need to do what we've just done and watch some firework displays remotely, like we're doing a lot of things at the moment, watching them on our computers or on the television, because there won't be any bonfire celebrations in the way that we're used to this year. But so let's have a look now at some fireworks. I'm going to put this assembly onto the website, so you can always have a look at this if you want to on the November the 5th. Hopefully. Okay. Let me just go back. Sorry, everybody. There we go. Okay. Now, ordinarily, we'd be thinking about how to stay safe when we go to a bonfire party, but I'm still going to remind you about staying safe, because obviously it's really important, even if you did have a sparkler at home, that you also remember how to keep safe and happy on bonfire night.
If it were
bonfire night. I had an explosive case to solve. Every year, kids were being hurt by fireworks. I had a lead, but it was safer for Sparky to stay indoors. These kids were smart. A grown-up lit the fireworks, and everyone stood well back. I had to hand it to him. Wearing gloves was wise. The only drips here were from the bucket. How come you kids are so clued up?
It's simple. We follow the firework code.
So remember, get wise and
Don't get hurt.
Okay, I'll go back to where we were. So you should never, play with fireworks. They are explosives and can hurt you. Only adults should light and hold fireworks. When you're watching fireworks, you must stand well back. Never go near a firework that has been lit. Even if it hasn't gone off, it could still explode. Fireworks will frighten your pets, so keep them safely indoors. If you are given a sparkler, always wear gloves. Hold it at arm's length. When your sparkler goes out, do not touch it. It could still burn you. So put it hot and down in a bucket of water. And never give sparklers to a child under 5. So if we then go think about the thank that I had at the beginning, which is to do with what would happen if Guy Fawkes hadn't plotted to blow up the House of Parliament on the November the 5th, 1605, would we have bonfire night? Would we have a bonfire night? Because bonfires and exploding fireworks remind us what would have happened if the plan to blow up the House of Parliament had been an success. So when we're remembering the 5th of November, we need to follow the firework code to make sure we keep ourselves and everyone else safe and happy. But as I said, this year it's going to be slightly different, but it's still really important we think about this significant historical event. So I'm going to put back on the music for Handel and the Royal Fireworks, just for you to listen to a little bit more, and hope you have a really good week. I can't wait to come and see all the exciting learning that you will be doing, and yeah, have a good week everybody and stay safe. All right, let's hope I've got it again.